side of it is watching like I just talked to Boone Evans earlier, right? And Boone Evans just doubled up last weekend and won. He's extremely good racer. But I've watched this young kid blossom from a young man into a young into a young boy into a young man that he is now. But just such a great racer. You watch his dad win so many over the years, but now Boone is as a starting pitcher at McPherson College in Kansas and is just doing a phenomenal job. That's the best trucking business in the state right there. Bell's Towing and Recovery, get his boy fed here.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. I heard Boone's quite the junior college baseball star these days.
Yes,
up in Kansas, I believe.
He hopped out from underneath that race car earlier, and he towered me. I remember the last time I interviewed him for the first time when he won at Timberline Speedway in a limited modified, and he was here on me. And now he's literally here, and it's strange. There's not many drivers, I guess, that towered me in Victory Lane. Brandon Ball's a tall one, and Jason Beasley. But typically, I seem to be taller than a lot of them.
Keith Battiali.
Keith Battiali, yes.
About 6'5".
The old fireman there. Retired fireman.
We call him Tall Man Keith.
Yeah, he is a good dude, too. That is one of the best human beings in dirt track racing overall, especially in the Arklatex area. You got to love Keith Battiali. He is good for our sport. So, again, we appreciate your patience in advance, folks. But, again, you got to remember that, hey, the grandstands weren't even necessarily to be open tonight. So, all the folks that are hanging out at the house that are waiting, we do appreciate you guys as we are getting ready to rock and roll here with time trials for the factory stocks and the limited modifieds here momentarily at the Arklatex Speedway here in Vivian, Louisiana, right where Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas all meet. If you've never been here, be a great weekend to throw this one on the old Waze navigation or the Google Maps tomorrow and get up here to Vivian to see some great dirt track action. There's nothing like the full effect of being at the racetrack, but if you can't be here, we've got you served up with the number one alternative every single lap of every single class all weekend long. Only 3 classes total. Mods, USRA Mods, run a full show tomorrow night for $2,000 to win. And again, $5,000 on Saturday night for the limiteds and the factory stocks here at Arklatex.
Yeah, Zach, they call this place the land of the 3 wide for a reason, and I've found myself saying that about the last 3 or 4 times we've raced. Just this past Saturday, we had a 4 wide in the factory stock division, and I was actually I was talking to Gary Finch in the pits earlier tonight. He's never been here. So I was telling him a little bit about the track, and it's the land of the 3 wide. He knew that. I told him last year we had a scenario on the front straightaway. They're 4 wide. Not Dalton Faulkner. Neil Kemp, Justin Whitehead, Sean Graham, Cody Myers. 4 wide for the lead. And the caution came out because someone spun in the back.
Yeah. That's that old James Essex saying, PSG, please stay green. That's that whole, when you want to throw that little moniker out there, or saying, if you will. But, yeah, this place has always raced very well, man. And it's it's something that Gene Border obviously took tons of pride in. He raced at so many racetracks throughout the country, and he got things from different tracks that he ventured to that he liked, and he kind of implemented them into this place, like the way the track sits and the way the front straightaway is that D-shaped oval, and just kind of how you're never fully straight when you exit corner number 4. You're already setting back up for turn number 1. This racetrack is certainly interesting, and it's not like anything around the other area racetracks anyway, not necessarily comparative. Maybe the actual size being a quarter mile, but nonetheless, each of our tracks have different unique characteristics about them, and that's why we love them so much.
Yeah, I would say that the most similar track to this track that I've seen is probably Super Bowl Speedway over in Greenville, just because they don't have walls in the corner, and they kind of have a wall on the front. And the wall on the back straightaway, just like here, is off the track at a safe distance.
What's interesting is Justin Whitehead says that Super Bowl Speedway is his favorite racetrack in the state of Texas. So, and he's had so much success at this track, 8 Cajun Classic wins, and it's no surprise that these tracks are similar. But I mean, he's pretty much good everywhere, right? I mean, he's pretty daggum, not too shabby behind the wheel of that 36J. But I think a lot of guys, they tell you that they're happy that they'd rather probably race with him. But I'm sure a lot of them secretly are not too disappointed that he parks that hot rod for this weekend's event.
Yeah, last time he was out here with the factory stock, he parked in Victory Lane, but his limited modified, he got blown by his little cousin, Connor Mewborn.
Yeah, buddy. Has that kid not stepped his game? I mean, he's just got the natural progression rolling on right now. I would love to have an actual GoPro camera on Brian at all times to watch him even Miss Christie. I think they're on vacation right now, but watching Brian hoop and holler over his children racing is something else to behold. I'm telling you right now, it's a great scene.
I can see in the very near future a side-by-side battle for the lead between Colby and Connor, and them leaning all over each other.
Oh, absolutely. Heck, Connor and Justin had a little fender bender here at Architect Circle this year. I'm not sure if you were here or not, but they had a little I'll drop a cheese stick there. They had a little bit of a fender bender under caution, and it was going to be a short Thanksgiving dinner there, but I think they fixed that up. We got a little while before November anyway.
Lineup set and the drivers' meeting concluded, as we do have over 100 cars tonight to time trial, I believe. Haven't had the official numbers, but 117 cars took time in open practice. We had one late model and about 4 modifieds, and I believe the rest of them were all either factory stocks or limited modifieds.
It's pretty good. Yeah, we appreciate Brandon Ball for coming out and being the lone crate late model soldier here tonight. He's trying to get that new black diamond ironed out. He had a gnarly flip at 67 Texarkana Speedway last month, and just got himself a new black diamond assembled there out of their shop at the Bubba Green Towing headquarters in Texarkana. But boy, B-Ball had a tough roll over there, and it looked nasty on video, but in person he was even gnarlier.
Yeah, like we always say, I actually shared something on Facebook this week about how important safety equipment is. Great to see Brandon back as quick as he has been. I believe he broke his hand in that accident. But as we always say, race cars can be replaced and the drivers can't. And so very happy to see Brandon back. I know he raced last week at I-30. I believe he had mechanical issues because he was registered as a did not start. But good to see Brandon turning in some laps tonight. I'd love to see him battle in a limited modified, but it's just not in the cards for this week.
Yeah. You know, Brandon had a lot of success in the limited mod. He won the Southern Dirt Track Championship at the Texas Motor Speedway Dirt Track back in 2019. And also won the Tootsie Smith Memorial here. And that old B-17 car. He was in B-75 that year in tribute to his grandfather there. Richard Ball, the B-75 car. Again, we're going to take just a brief break here, folks. We'll be right back at you and allow Colin to eat this food here and get ready to get stoved up here for our time trials here in a moment. Good to see Keith Parker up there and the Barksdale Federal Credit Union flag stand. Always good to see my good friend, longtime flagman, a former racer at the Boot Hill Speedway, and one of the best in the business. We love having him here, as well as Brad Hockaday, Professional Motorsports Solutions, in the house tonight, as out of North Carolina, Professional Motorsports Solutions. You can find them at pmss.com. As looks like old A&T Delivery, Kenny Turner's got the old hot rod or van down the infield. But Alton Wheat, there's a big group that Justin has assembled that helps put these races on. And John Young, who's a track steward here week in and week out. John's getting down in the infield. So that tells you that we're getting down to time and we're getting close to business here at the Arklatex Speedway here tonight. So again, Brad Hockaday, Professional Motorsports Solutions, about to make his way up. We're going to get started here with the live timing and scoring for our factory stocks and limited modifieds here tonight. So how we're going to do it is, folks, we're going to pull the groups of a big group of them down to the infield, and then we'll send them out of the racetrack 1 or 2 times a piece.
Hey, announcers. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Again, folks, we welcome you here into the Arklatex Speedway, joined here to my right by the voice of the Ollie's Bargain Outlet Short Track Super Series Cajun region. The Big Block Modified Series just recently formed up last year. They're in their first full year this year and having a phenomenal run. They were just here at Arklatex last week, and that's Colin Bill here to my right out of Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm Zach Clark with RaceOnTexas.com, as we've got the factory stocks in the infield, and we are live as well on Facebook, as we thank all of you great folks that are tuned in live tonight watching on Facebook here via RaceOnTexas.com. And this is your meal ticket to see all the great competitors here. We have over 100 cars that are timed in practice, and that is a nice field of competitive racers here assembled from all over the Mid-South here for a pair of 5,000 to win events here this weekend. 5,000 to win for the factory stocks, 5,000 to win for the limited modifieds, and we have a full show for the USRA modifieds tomorrow night, paying $2,000 to your winner, as we'll have 3 cars on the racetrack a piece at a time. Again, we appreciate you folks for watching live on Facebook here on Race on Texas. And we're going to give you tonight a little bit of a free preview, show you all the great competitors. Again, we would like to remind you as well, tonight really means nothing. At the end of the day, they're going to have to line them up and lace their shoes up and go at it door to door, row from row, in 2 rounds of passing point heat races. Tonight, they're going to find out who's got the fastest hot rod of the bunch, making just a couple of laps, which will guarantee them a spot and earn them a provisional into the show Saturday night, Colin Bell, as that will be a nice feather to put in the cap and something certainly give you a sense of security in your back pocket if you can earn that here tonight.
Yep, as we said before, you certainly don't have to be here tonight to set yourself up for a good spot, but it can't possibly hurt you as long as you load it up on the trailer in one piece later tonight. So it's just more track time and a potential for guys to make a little bit more money to make their tow here worth it.
I hope you can load it up on the trailer in one piece after a night like this, because unless you pop the old weasel there, pop the power plant, then I guess that's about the only way that you're going to go. But you shouldn't go home with any kind of sheet metal damage. That's for tomorrow night. Knock on wood there, brother. As we'll have the factory stocks coming out. Again, 3 cars apiece. We'll time them up. They'll take the green, the white, then the checkers. So we thank you folks that are watching, all of our diehards here on Race on Texas via Facebook, as well Speed Pass on RaceOnTexas.com. You can buy your monthly subscription for $39.99 a month. You can get all the racing action from nearly just about every single racetrack in the great state of Texas and beyond. We've now ventured around the Arkansas, Texarkana 67 Speedway, the Boot Hill Speedway in Greenwood, Louisiana, each and every week here at Arklatex Speedway. Here as of late, we've covered the last 3 or 4 events here and looking forward to more in the future. But we thank each and every one of you for tuning in, watching live tonight on Facebook for our time trials here at the Arklatex Speedway, right here in Vivian, Louisiana, where Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas all meet for great quality dirt track action.
So I have all the factory stocks. I only have like 5 that I've done for sponsors. Okay. You know Brandon Williams sponsors my chance?
No,
He's never
the
shown
2X car?
Yeah, from Lubbock. He's never shown up.
This is a who's who field of factory stock competitors. This event, each of the last couple of years, we talked about the last time this event, the Mike Parker, or it was actually the factory stock 50 at that time, before we unfortunately lost Mike Parker. Shout out to the Parker family, longtime owners of the Borderline Septic Systems over in Stonewall, Louisiana. Miss Marcia messaged me on my Facebook not too long ago. Love her dearly, and the entire Parker family. We miss watching the boys race, and we certainly miss Mike dearly here. As this is a race in tribute to him, we want to make sure we mention him several times throughout this weekend, as this is certainly a tribute to the great man that he was and the great life that he lived, which had an impact on so many, including event promoter Justin Whitehead, who was certainly one of Justin's longtime supporters. As the factory stocks rolling on, and the first car onto the racetrack, it'll be the driver of the Southern Roofing Outlaw Racing Chassis, PTS Racing powered number 100. The Bobby's Body Shop L100 Outlaw Chassis, Lee Patton. Lee Patton at Equipment, Louisiana. And then onto the racetrack, a many-time feature winner here over the year, driver of the Moore Wireline Services Hitman Designs, number 40. It's J. Lou Jeff Lewis out of Houghton, Louisiana. And on the racetrack, I believe that's the new Outlaw Racing Chassis for John Parker. That's John Parker. That's Sugar. That is a new Outlaw Racing Chassis, the KN Transport number 9 car, John Parker Jr., as they'll take the white first lap for Lee Patton. An 18.488 for Lee Patton on lap number 1. 18.488, lap 2. Lap number 1 for Jeff Lewis, an 18.348. So he's quicker right now. So Jeff Lewis, the quickest out of the 3 cars that have hit the racetrack here, this first 3, the JRP Racing Products Moore Wireline number 40. Jeff Lewis, no stranger to victory lane here. The very well-respected Houghton, Louisiana Wiley veteran racer who is looking to get back to victory lane in a big way this weekend for $5,000. Jeff Lewis with an 18.348. His second lap was an 18.575. 18.488 for Lee Patton, JP3, John Parker Jr., and that Outlaw Chassis number 9 car at 18.518.
Next on the Speedway, the first of this set of 3 out of Shreveport, Louisiana, and the Mikey's one-stop shop, number 777. That's going to be Mikey Brunker. Following him out of Wascom, Texas, is going to be the 11H. That's Logan Hughes. And the final car on the Speedway, as Michael Hale is a no-show, is going to be the Hunter's Body Shop NWA Automation, Chad's Auto and Exhaust, number 35S of JT Turner. So Brunker in 777, Hughes in the 11H, and Turner in the 35S. As the first lap will go for Brunker. He's going to be 4th quick with a 21.236. First lap for Hughes, going to be 4th quick. Knock Brunker to the 5th spot as Hughes goes 18.970. And JT Turner hits quick time in the 35S. 18.289 for the Minden, Louisiana, number 35S of JT Turner. Brunker's second lap going to be better. He's going to hit a 21.157. He'll stay 6th. And the final time by JT Turner, not as quick, but on the top of the boards out of Minden, Louisiana, the 35S with a lap of 18.289. JT Turner to the top of the boards.
JT Turner with the Superman S alongside that number 35S car. As, again, the time to beat right now at 18.289 over Jeff Lewis's 18.348. Lee Patton, your top 3. Lee Patton's with an 18.488 for what it's worth. On to the racetrack, the driver of the Laser Racing Chassis House Car. Superior Bar and Grill. Laser Chassis JJ Motorsports, number 12 out of Bossier City, Louisiana. It's Bo Perry in car number 12. A second place finisher last Saturday night to Cody Myers as Myers got the victory. And car number 58, the Pink Racing entry out of Shreveport, Louisiana. It's Tiffany Welch out of Greenwood, Louisiana, car number 58. And the number 4V, that's going to be Toby Earhart. And quick time for Bo Perry with an 18.121. Setting the bar is Bo Perry with an 18.121. Lap number 1 for Tiffany Welch with an 19.056. 19.056 and the 44. Earhart's first lap, a 19.313, and he'll set up into turns 3 and 4 to get his final time. But Bo Perry, an 18.121, the better of his 2, his second, an 18.203. So an 18.121 resets the bar over JT Turner, Jeff Lewis, Lee Patton, and John Parker Jr. Earhart's second lap of the 2 better with an 18.960, puts him up to 6th out of the 9 cars that have taken time.
Next to enter the Speedway out of Edgewood, Texas, is the Outlaw Race Cars Patriot Racing number 13. That's Jeff Hammett. Followed by him, it's going to be the Hitman out of Shreveport, Louisiana, the WW Timber Hitman Designs number XXX. That's Sean Graham. And the final car on the Speedway out of Nashville, Arkansas, that's going to be the 69X of Brandon Preer. 3 heavy hitters in this set as they're all chasing the 12 of Bo Perry right now out front with an 18.121. As the green flag waves for Hammett, Graham, and Preer. First lap for Hammett, second quick for the 13. Hits an 18.219. Here comes the Hitman to register his first lap. Sean Graham going to go fourth quick. And the Triple X, Brandon Preer, is eighth. Second lap for Hammett, not as good. He'll sit in the second spot. We'll see if the Triple X or the 69X can knock off Bo Perry on this final lap. Sean Graham goes to second quick in the Triple X with an 18.160. As Brandon Preer not as quick in the 69X, he will stay in eighth. So Sean Graham goes to second in the Triple X. Third will be Jeff Hammett in the 13, and Brandon Preer in the 69X goes to eighth.
Not bad for the Hitman, Sean Graham, public enemy number one, trouble, whatever you want to call him. He has certainly been good this year. He started off the season hot, but he's not raced a lot the last couple of years. But again, it's Bo Perry with an 18.121 right now, the time to beat over Sean Graham's 18.160, and Jeff Hammett, your top three, with an 18.219. Now on to the racetrack. Out of Tyler, Texas, in the number 18H, Tracy's Lawn Care sponsored entry. The hired gun is TJ Evans, driving for Tracy Harris this weekend. And the car number 10X this weekend, the hired gun for Billy Taylor. The 10X is racing Jason Ingalls, quick time winner at this event when it was held at Boot Hill Speedway last season. So we hustle them down the into 3 and 4. Yeah. So Josh Daughtery behind the wheel of the 10X. I know I talked to Josh earlier. He looked like he was getting ready to throw on a fire suit, but Josh Daughtery behind the wheel of the 10X, not Jason Ingalls. And quick time for TJ Evans with an 18.106. 18.106 for TJ Evans, puts him at the top of the board. 18.106 for TJ Evans. Cameron Furr on the racetrack. Colton's on vacation in Galveston. That's going to be Cameron Furr with an 18.710, good for 11th quick. And Josh Daughtery with an 18.549, the better of the two, puts him the 9th in car number 10X.
So my apologies, race fans. We should have cleared this up before we started this, but the top three from this session will advance to the final round tonight. 3 cars from 3 different sessions will advance to the final 9 cars for the factory stocks. On the Speedway now, we got the Texarkana, Arkansas native, the 50 of Shelby Ward. Also on the Speedway, Jason Gore in 721. Gore comes to us out of Seagoville, Texas. Jason Gore in the JG Automotive Dash for Cash Pawn Shop, number 721. And also on the Speedway, Mighty Mike Wells out of Texarkana, Texas in the Roto-Rooter Central Air Heating, number 38. Jason Gore going to go 5th quick on lap number 1 in his 721 machine. As Shelby Ward is 17th, Mike Wells 13th on lap number 1. Shelby Ward stays in the 17th of 18 spots. As here comes Jason Gore for his second pass around. He'll stay in the 5th spot. Mike Wells looked faster that time, and he will register 13th place. So Shelby Ward finishes in the 17th spot as of now. Jason Gore going to set the 5th quick time in the 721, and 13th will be the 38 of Mike Wells.
Turner. So on to the racetrack and heading off of turn number 4 here to the green flag to get his first lap put into the books here. And the Turner Racing number 15 car, that's going to be Austin Turner. Austin Turner out of Asheville, Arkansas, piloting car number 15. And off of turn 4, in the number 24, that's going to be Ruben Broussard of the 24B. He's out of Cameron Crow, Louisiana, hometown of the 3J of Kevin DuPont. So lap number 1 for Broussard. That's Brent Broussard again, piloting car number 24B. He go to 12th quick with an 18.645. 18.645. Austin Turner jumps right up in front of him with an 18.578. Goes to 12th quick. Relegates the 24B's. Advances a Broussard 13th with that 18.645.
So up next will be the 3rd generation racer out of Shreveport, Louisiana. The Crudoff race car is number D27. That's Devin Crudoff. Also on the Speedway out of Amity, Arkansas, the 35M. That's TJ McCarty. And the final car on the Speedway out of Vidor, Texas, in the Outlaw race cars, number 1H. That's going to be Chad Herring. All these cars going to take the white flag, the green flag, I should say, right there. As Devin Krudoff's going to be the first to set down a lap in this set of 3.
I won't be surprised if Harry knocks him off. It looks good.
Krudoff 15th quick. McCarty takes the 15th spot away. 7th for the 1H of Chad Herring on lap number 1. Here comes lap number 2 for Krudoff. He'll be 17th. McCarty stays with 16th. Can Herring improve from the 7th place spot? He will not. Chad Herring in the 1H will stay in the 7th spot as we go to our final competitor of round number 1.
He was scheduled to come out 11th quick right behind Tiffany Welch. Nonetheless, the driver, the hired gun this weekend, driving Jeffrey Bechet's number 4 V car this weekend. The 5-time Arclitect Speedway Factory Stock Track Champion of the 2011 Cajun Classic winner. He's won some $5,000 win events, one of the all-time winningest Pro Mod drivers here at this racetrack, and one of the winningest factory stock drivers here all time. Right here out of Vivian, Louisiana, it's Doug Vick Jr., Booty, and car number 4V. Again, driving Jeffrey Bechet's number 4 car. The lone soldier on the racetrack will come around to get his white flag lap this time. And we'll see what Vick Jr. has for him. 9th quick with an 18.356. An 18.356 for car number 4 of Doug Vick Jr. right here out of Vivian, Louisiana. You can throw a stone right there to his front doorstep, folks, if you try hard enough. Final circuit off of 4 to the checkers from flagman Keith Parker. He'll bump it up 1 spot and put Jeff Lewis to 9th. That's an 18.344. Doug Vick Jr. to 8th spot. So Colin Bell, the quickest. We're taking the top 3 to the final round here. And so these 3 will sit to the side. The rest of them will go to the pit area. These guys will have an opportunity to go make some quick adjustments on their cars, I believe is what I was told. As that's going to be TJ Evans with that 18.106 here in the first group of cars. Bo Perry and Sean Graham. And let's be honest, that's not a big surprise. Maybe TJ because he hasn't driven that car very often, but he's been good in it. The few seldom starts that he has. But Bo Perry, no surprises. Just got his season started a few weeks ago. Second last weekend to Cody Myers. He showed a lot of strength looking for that first victory, but Bobo is awfully quick, and Sean Graham started off this season dominant and white hot.
Yes, and if my memory serves me correctly, I believe Bo finished second or ran second for the majority of the Cajun Classic, battling side by side with Dalton Faulkner all year. So you know this is a track he's comfortable at, and he's raced up front for $5,000 here before.
Absolutely. Bo's certainly become one of the seasoned veterans in our area racing scene as far as the factory stock racing goes. He's got a great prowess in these cars, and his dad, builds and fabricates the Laser Racing chassis. That is the Laser House car, of course, sponsored by Superior Bar and Grill, JJ Motorsports. Jody Prince puts his twists on those cars. They do a lot of great work there over at his shop in Sibley, Louisiana. But Bo Perry, no shock here to be sitting second behind TJ Evans and not far off from that quick time of 18.106. As Perry's again with an 18.121, Graham an 18.160. Those are the only 3 cars in the 18.1 second bracket here tonight.
Yeah, and we can't possibly talk enough about Sean Graham. I believe he's already got 7 wins on the season. And he's been one that's kind of flying under the radar the last few weeks. He's taken some weeks off, had some vacations, but you can never count out the hitman, especially here at the land of the 3 wide.
He came from 18th and won the Cajun Classic here in 2019. As boy, that was a stellar run for him. I think it was 2020 rather, but won the O'Reilly Auto Parts Cajun Cruiser Classic here in Vivian. As Sean Graham is certainly one of the top factory stock drivers around, and you have to love and respect Sean's approach to the game. He's always built and kind of fabricated his own cars out of his own shop, but this season, Ronnie Long, Josh Balkum putting him in one of them Dominator racing chassis cars, and it's been a great asset to he and that race team, as Sean Graham will be a threat here this weekend again for $5,000. Remember, Jason Ingalls drove his Triple X car at the 5,000 to win Mike Parker Memorial at Texarkana 67 Speedway a few years ago. Jason Ingalls started 24th, came home in second in the Triple X Rocket. That's going to be Daniel Jones. They're talking about the one over here alongside the white car.
The blue and orange.
Yeah, that's Daniel Jones.
Behind Daniel?
Oh, the blue and orange one, sorry. No.
Marla. Who's the car behind Daniel Jones?
It's got a
23, right here in the infield.
lined up 5th.
Who's the super bright blue and orange car that you can't read the number on?
I can tell you if I can see the numbers. Oh, that's the Ford Junior. Oh, Boone Evans. Yes.
Gotcha.
We're up here trying to figure out who the car in the infield with the bright orange. That's Boone Evans, who I was just talking about a little bit ago. Interviewed this young man when he won his first ever race in Corley at Timberline Speedway when he was only 13 years old. And the young man, I towered him that day in Victor Lane. I went and talked to him earlier. He climbed out from underneath the race car. He and his dad, Travis, are working hard on that hot rod. And he towered me standing in the pits. I mean, he has become quite the big youngster. Boone Evans, now a pitcher from McPherson College, which is in Kansas. And so he is living in Tyler, Texas, but home for summer. So trying to race back around the home stretch this weekend. But he's been doing a lot of racing in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Colin, and won last weekend and dominated. Was it in Bells at Grayson County? Or was it Cotton Bowl? I'm trying to remember right off the top of my head. It was at Boyd Raceway. Okay. Yeah, he won.
I was going to say, I know he had a really strong
both.
Run at RPM.
Yeah, he's been good everywhere, really, over there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Since moving up there, I know he's gotten to the IMCA stock car rinks, which are huge in Kansas.
Yes.
And I actually saw him race last year at Boyd and Kennedale for the IMCA tour that went through. And he actually had that stock car so hooked up, he leaned on that right rear and completely rolled it over.
Traction rolled it?
Flipped the whole thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what he is telling me a little bit earlier, is that the IMCA stock car is popular up in Kansas, and that's obviously why he's been racing a little bit more and venturing that way rather than venturing over here to race with us more often. So on the racetrack, a two-time winner at the Texarkana 67 Speedway a season ago. I've been calling him Starvin' Harvin. He's been gobbling up some victories anytime he can get them. The driver of the Poe Run transmission. Number 25 out of Falk, Arkansas, it's Gary Harvin in car number 25. Won his first race at 67 since 2013 last season. As lap number 1 for Harvin is going to set the bar with an 18.403. And a two-time winner this season, driver of the Blanchard Hauling Battle Wagon Race Cars Ford Power number J27. It's Scotty Case with an 18.786 on lap number 1. A lot to be designed there for Scotty. And quick time for Daniel Jones. That would have been quick in the first group, an 18.168 for Dano. Daniel Jones, who set quick time at the inaugural Factory Stock 50 back in 2013. Slows down a little bit on lap number 2 with an 18.435, but quick time setting the bar for the first 3 cars from Provençal, Louisiana. Driver of the best engine-powered Outlaw chassis number 23 for Daniel Jones with an 18.168. Harvin 18.389, 18.786 for Scotty Case.
So here comes the second session of 3. And here we go. Frank Cannizzaro, first car on the Speedway in the Frank's Fishing and Rental number 5 out of Mansfield, Louisiana. Second car on the Speedway out of San Antonio, Texas in the 66. The Scott Ball Racing South Texas Motorsports Hercules Foundation Repair number 66. That's Johnny Torres. And the final car of 3 in session number 2 out of Alexandria, Louisiana. That's the Bennings Heating and Air 7S of Cortland Smith Racing for Darty. First time by Frank Cannizzaro, third quick. He'll knock Scotty Case into the 4th spot. Johnny Torres shoots to the 2nd spot with an 18.373. First lap for Cortland is going to be 6th of 6 so far with a 19.032. See if Cortland can improve on lap number 2. Cannizzaro is going to stay 4th. Here comes Torres digging on the bottom. Not as quick for Torres as he'll sit 2nd in the 66 machine. As here comes the 7S of Cortland Smith. Can he improve? No, he cannot. He'll stay in the 6th spot. So Smith goes 2nd. Cannizzaro is 4th. And Johnny Torres out of San Antonio, Texas sits in the 2nd spot. Daniel Jones still atop the board.
Welcome on 3 more contingents to the racetrack here tonight. And on the racetrack, exiting corner number 4 this time, the young man who we were just speaking of, out of Bullard, Texas, right there outside of Tyler, the ARE-powered number 4B. It's going to be Boone Evans. Mentioned young man won his first ever race around the Architects at Timberline Speedway back in 2013. And a limited modified held off Denny Gabar to win that night. It was nonetheless impressive. We'll see what he is on lap number 1. And the Gary's Auto Repair number 00 Outlaw Racing Chassis. 75 years old. Always say age ain't nothing but a number, baby. Gary Hendrickson. Gary Hendrickson in car number 75 and on the racetrack as well at a Ashton, Arkansas, car number 19. That's Paul Turner. So lap number 1 for Boone Evans, good for 4th quick with an 18.442. 18.442. Gary Hendrickson, 2nd lap, the quickest of the 2 with an 18.620. He goes to 6th quick, and Paul Turner, 9th out of the 9 cars with a 19.199. Daniel Jones still at the top of the board here, Colin.
One quick note before we get to this next session, I always like to point this out. Gary Hendrickson in the 00. He's a Vietnam War veteran from 1966 to 1968, and we'll talk about that more here in a second. First car of session number 4. It's the youngster. It's Dustin Hennigan, Little Winnigan, as he's trying to set his mark on the factory stock world.
Little Henny.
Second on the Speedway, the Mini Week Farms, number 32L. That's Luke Wheat. And the third car in this session, that's Billy Mazzell Jr., driving the 88 machine of Jesse Mazzell this weekend. Sponsored by the Enfield Tractor Tire. First lap for Dustin Hennigan. Here we go. He's fourth quick. Hennigan one spot out of a potential transfer spot right now. Here comes Luke Wheat. He'll be 11th quick. Oh, never mind, it adjusted. He is 9th. First lap for Billy Mazzell, the third. He is sitting in the 11th spot. This time by, Dustin Hennigan's going to stay 4th. So Mazzell finishes in an 11th spot. Wheat is 8th, and Hennigan 4th quick.
So on to the racetrack now. We welcome in the number C8 machine. That's going to be Jeremy Crumpler. He's out of Sarepta, Louisiana, car number C8. He takes to the green flag here. And hustling at the bottom of turn number 2, down the back straightaway, the former Cajun Classic winner, the reigning Cajun Classic winner, former many-time winner all over the great state of Texas and beyond, the driver of the DAF chassis, number 27, Knowles Performance Powered Entry, and gets the wall on the front straightaway, and quick time as he scrapes the front wall and sends sparks into the Vivian night sky with an 18.144 for Dalton Faulkner. And car 99, it's going to be Alan Alexander in the 99 car with an 18.827, good for 13th quick. Crumpler good for 9th quick with an 18.743. The quick time for the reigning Cajun Cruiser Classic winner in the DAF chassis, Knowles Performance Power number 27, as he scrapes the front straightaway concrete. Dalton Faulkner with an 18.144.
On the Speedway now to Bossier City, Louisiana. Winner here last weekend. That's the Crawfish Time, Twin City Towing, John Harvey Toyota, John Harvey Subaru, 55M of Cody Myers. Also on the Speedway, the C7 of Vic Case. And the final car on the Speedway, that's the 47 of Michael Dabney. As these three cars going to try to knock off Faulkner, Jones, and Torres, who are your top three cars thus far. First time by for Myers. It's quick time for the 55M. 18.046 for Myers. Vic Case is 9th quick. This time by, here comes Downey. Downey's going to be 10th. One more lap. Can Myers extend his advantage out front? 55M's been rolling here all year, got 2 wins this year. He won't be as quick, but it doesn't matter. He's on top. This time by Vic Case at the line. He's going to stay 9th. Can Downey improve? He cannot. So Vic Case will finish in the 9th spot. Michael Downey is 10th and setting a new quick time with an 18.046. It's the Bossier City bad boy, Cody Myers.
You know, he was quick time award winner at the 2019 running at the Texarkana 67 Speedway. One quick time that night. He has a knack for getting around this racetrack. Your reigning winner from last Saturday night, Myers. Can a driver get inside the 17-second bracket? We're getting awfully close. A half a tenth off with an 18.046. Myers has set the bar. So on to the racetrack now. We welcome the Outlaw chassis number J23, one of the sharpest race cars in the pit area this weekend. At our Troop Texas, it's going to be Joe Miller and car number J23. Behind him, and car number 82, welcome back to the saddle again. Out of Shreveport, Louisiana, car number 82 is going to be Brian Grosjean. And he looped the hot rod down there in 3 and 4.
That's what we call the announcer's jinx there, Zach.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say anything good about him yet. I just said, welcome back to the saddle, and he spun the saddle out. So, but I guess that give you a good renewance of what you've been missing anyway. Took me long enough. Brian Grosjean there, folks. A lot of people, one of my best friends' last name's Robert Grosjean, and we used to call him Nasty Pants. Grosjean, yeah, Nasty Pants. So anyway, I know Brian pretty well. He's a great guy. He's really good at pool, but he's in that J&J Motorsports number 82. He's going to try to shoot the 8 ball down off the exit of 2. and see if he can better this deal. The driver of the Woody Low Trucking Laser Racing Chassis number L1 car down the boulevard into turn number 1. That's going to be the driver of the number L1 of Speedy Ben Leedy. Ben Leedy good for 8th quick with an 18.482 for Ben Leedy. He's out of Jonesboro, Louisiana in car number L1. And Grosjean is going to be good for... I didn't get him on my reel. Oh, 20th quick with a 19.041 out of the 21 cars that have timed in here tonight. And Joe Miller, again, 14th quick in that Outlaw chassis number J23, the Troop Texan, with an 18.763.
So 5 cars left to qualify. Right now it's Cody Myers, Dalton Faulkner, and Daniel Jones, your top 3. But Stoney DuBois is going to try to change all of that. In the Legacy Construction, Scott Shaytree Performance Signs and Performance Signs and Graphics by Rob Litton, number 1. That's Stoney DuBois out of Robolene, Louisiana. Got the Flynn Trucking 75 machine out of Salina, Texas. That's Sonny Chofin. And the final car on the Speedway, that's the D55 of Dalton DuBois in the Legacy Construction number 55. First lap for Uncle Stoney DuBois, 18th quick. As Sonny Chauffeur goes to 4th quick. Dalton DuBois is going to take 4th quick. So we got 2 bids on the second lap. See if either of them can crack into the top 3. Here comes Chauffeur. Chauffeur second quick. Wow. Sonny Chauffeur with a 18.102 as the second lap for Dalton DuBois. Not enough, but the 75S of Sonny Chauffeur going to knock Daniel Jones out of the top 3.
Wow. I mean, that's what you love about this stuff. You just never know who's going to turn up the wick and dial it up, baby. Sonny Chauffeur out of Salina, Texas, rolls her up inside of the top 3 here. On the racetrack, this is Mike Parker's former Outlaw chassis car, the number 7X machine out of Cavanis, Texas. It's going to be Dalen Briscoe piloting car number 7X. And the BD3, the former Gulf South ASCS Regional Sprint Car champion many times in his career, almost won the 5,000 to win. Stephen Whitaker, the Jerry Whitaker Memorial down at Corpus Christi, South Texas Speedway at the end of last season. The BD3 car. It's going to be Ray Allen Colhanick. Going to 7th quick in the Outlaw chassis. It's going to be Dalen Briscoe with an 18.389. And jumping up to 5th quick is Ray Allen Colhanick in that BD3. And we'll see what lap number 2 has. Good still for 8th quick for Briscoe with an 18.389, the better of his 2 circuits. Ray Allen, final trip to the checkers this time. He'll hold on to 5th. Not far off from his first lap, an 18.219. But again, 18.194 for Ray Allen Colhanick and the number BD3 car.
So Cody Myers in the 55M going to be the fastest car in group number 2. He will advance to the final 9 along with Sonny Chauffeur in the 75S and Dalton Faulkner in the 27. Still respectable runs that could possibly earn a provisional for some of these drivers. Daniel Jones 4th quick in that one. And the BD3 of Ray Allen Colhanick. First time in a factory stock in a while to my knowledge in the Graves Recycling Top Hat Designs. Number BD3, strong run there from Colhanick, who will be back later in a number 33 limited modified. Like Zach said, strong sprint car and late model background there for that driver. So he definitely knows how to get around a racetrack. For sure. He's been really, really competitive in that limited modified car the last couple of seasons, and has always performed very well in the big money races. When I go down to Corpus Christi and announce the South Texas Speedway, has been really, really impressive down there. As we'll roll the next group onto the racetrack. So far, again, Colin, the 6 fastest hot rods out of the 2 different groups we've had, the top 3 out of each. Again, TJ Evans over Bo Perry and Sean Graham in the first group. Cody Myers over Sonny Chauffeur and Dalton Faulkner in that most recent group we saw just exit the racetrack. But overall, quickest time so far tonight has been turned by Cody Myers with an 18.046. So this group's going to be pretty interesting here, Zach. There's a few drivers. As you know, announcers, we're not allowed to have favorites. We're not supposed to.
Don't.
And we don't. But there are some drivers that you just want to see what they can do.
You want to see,
and there are 2 extremely fast mid to East Texas drivers in this group who have never been to Arklatex Speedway.
Yeah.
So that orange and blue B21 of Bryce Pritchett, that's a crate motor, but he gets it around Rocket Raceway Park just fine, and that's a much larger track than here. And also the 197 of Gary Peanut Finch, very fast at RPM, as well as Kennedale. And neither of these 2 drivers have ever raced here.
Yeah, it's always fun and interesting to see new guys coming to the racetrack they have never seen before and seeing what they can do. Sometimes it doesn't hurt you. Sometimes you come in just not knowing anything is the best thing for you. You just set your car up and go out there and try to get what you can get. And sometimes it works out very well for you. It worked out for Sonny Chauffeur. I'll tell you what, I've caught a lot of races here over the last 13 or 14 years. I'm not sure he's been here before either. May have, but I can't say I've ever caught a race with Sonny Chauffeur in it to my recent knowledge, and my memory still works pretty decent.
I recall.
But you have a knack for this too.
I recall seeing his name or his car at 67 at a big factory stock race. I'm not positive if it was a Mike Parker a few years back. It may have been. It may have been something else.
Yeah.
But I have seen his car around a few times. It also looks very similar to Marcus Black's Limited.
Yeah,
I talked
75.
to him about that 751, but it's a little one. So we talked about that in the pits earlier, how similar those cars looked.
So, next car to the racetrack. And the Seals Automotive number 193 car out of Shepherd, Texas, always shows up and tries to show out in these big money races. You'll find him at the King of the Hill, and anytime big money's on the line, he'll be back here in October for the Cajun Classic out of Shepherd. And the 193 Outlaw Racing chassis is going to be Daniel Seals in 193. And out of Minden, Louisiana, the second generation race of the son, Dwayne Brown, it's going to be Hayden Brown at car number 53. And on the racetrack out of Columbia, Louisiana, and the Raptor Racing chassis, number 1S machine, it's Jamie Shirley in the 1S. First lap for Seals on an 18.934. Quickest so far out of the few cars that have taken time in this next group. It's Hayden Brown in that 53 car with an 18.359. Shirley's lap was a 19.080, so leaving a lot out there to be desired on this final lap. Seals cannot turn up the wick, or he does turn up the wick. His second lap, an 18.501. And Hayden Brown's final lap, an 18.506. So the first of his two, the best of his two laps. So Brown sets the bar in this third group for the factory stocks, 18.359 over Daniel Seals and Jamie Shirley.
Well, Zach, I know we always have people that we like to say keep an eye on, and I'm going to say it right now. Hayden Brown is one to watch. He had a strong seventh place run, I should say, here last weekend, and that 53 is just getting faster every week. First car of this session, the O'Reilly Auto Parts, number 15X, that's Dakota Wyatt out of Provençal, Louisiana. Also out of Provençal, Louisiana, the Jones Septic Outlaw Race Cars, number B21, that's Bubba Jones. And the final car on the Speedway. Out of Frost, Texas, in the Texscapes Nursery and Landscaping, Insolent Chassis, Undercover Shocks, number 10, that's Nate Dixon. And Bubba Jones goes to the top. B21 is quick time. Nate Dixon second. Bubba Jones with an 18.028, even faster than Cody Myers' quick time of session number 2. This time by Dakota Wyatt's going to take the 4th spot. Jones this time by another 18.0, but not as fast. Wow. Bubba Jones has it figured out tonight. Nate Dixon lays down another 18.3 as he has an 18.338. Bubba Jones 3 full tenths faster than the other 5 cars so far.
Bubba said, "Hey, Cody, hold my beer." Bubba Jones in the out of Provençal in the number 21B, 18.028 is now the time to beat.
Who is the real B21, as Justin said earlier?
So here we go.
Bryce.
Yeah, here comes Bryce Pritchett. Young man you've been talking a lot about, has been a dominant force at the Rocket Raceway Park over there. Kevin Rogers, Kevin Stairs, Kara Promotions, Rocket Raceway Park in Petty, Texas. Go see them any Saturday night throughout the year. They're doing a great job over there. But Bryce Pritchett, you'll find him there on a dirt track Saturday night. Out of Columbine, Texas, Bryce Pritchett, he'll go to 4th quick with an 18.423 on the first of his 2 circuits. As Nate. Wait a minute. So we got a lot of fast ones out here on the racetrack. In car number 81 of Ricky Ingalls and the Twin City Towing. John Harvey Toyota, Lexus sponsor, Subaru sponsor, number 81 car. As Ingalls leaves a lot to be desired with an 18.388. Going to 2nd quick, you're running Mike Parker Memorial winner with an 18.088. The 3rd quickest time overall so far tonight out of every car. And an 18.178 on lap number 2. That's Kyle Cummings. And the Callender Motorsports GRT Racing Chassis number B1. That is the first and ever factory stock GRT Racing Chassis assembled there to the GRT Racing Chassis shop. As Chad Callender and Kyle Cummings have formed a dominant alliance there.
So your top 3 so far, Bubba Jones, Kyle Cummings, and Nate Dixon. As Rodney Howell enters the Speedway in the newly acquired 20D machine. Believe that's a former Drew Paddock car that has now been acquired by Rodney Howell. Also on the Speedway, Winnigan, Chris Hennigan in the C16, Southern Roofing number C16. And also on the Speedway, the Hot Wheels number 10K, that's Tracy Corp. First time around for Rodney Howell. It's going to be 10th quick for the 20D of Howell. Here comes Hennigan. Chris Hennigan, third quick. He's going to knock Dixon out of the top three with an 18.156. Tracy Corp sets 12th quick on his first attempt. And here comes Rodney Howell, going to try to improve. He cannot. Can Hennigan improve and get himself a little bit of breathing room up there in the top three? And he cannot. And he'll stay on the bubble as Tracy Corp loses it over in turns 3 and 4. But he's going to keep his foot through it. He's trying to get to the start-finish line.
The only driver we've really seen that's been able to kind of continue his pace from the first lap is Bubba Jones. Each and every driver seems like they've
and
thrown.
Tracy's going to finish what he started.
Let's see what he got. A 29.142, folks.
He does not give up.
It seems like Bubba Jones, though, is the only driver who's laid down 2 consistent laps. Seems like a lot of these drivers are throwing down their very best, maybe falling off a little bit on their second lap.
Yeah,
but
Cummings
Jones
only 9 tenths slower the second lap.
Right, but 2 O's for Bubba Jones, not too shabby there. Again, the time to beat, folks, at 18.028 by Provençal, Louisiana racer Bubba Jones. On the racetrack, On the racetrack now, the Durham Lawn Care and Landscaping 99X machine out of Texarkana, Arkansas. The DRC Racing Chassis 99X, that's going to be Derek Durham. Derek Durham in 99X. First lap for Durham is going to be good for an 18.533 for 10th quick. First lap laid down for their hired gun this weekend of the Outlaw Racing Chassis, Outlaw Lawn Care. 5-0 car for Scotty Hushelpeck goes to 4th quick with an 18.158. Scotty Hushelpeck out of Hooks, Texas, the hired gun for Cole Ogden's number 5-0 car. And the 83 of Calvin Tucker with an 18.589 13th quick. And Hushelpeck cannot better. He turns an 18.305 again, 4th quick. Again, it's all Bubba Jones all the time, setting the bar here in your third group for the
Zach,
factory stocks at an 18.028.
Time. Look at the separation between 3 and 4. Scotty Hushelpeck just missed the transfer by 0.002 to Chris Hennigan. 2 accomplished modified drivers there.
Yes.
Now on the Speedway, it's the 197. Out of Kemp, Texas, that's going to be Gary Peanut Finch in his 197 machine, the White Horse Valerie Vaughn, number 197. Excuse me. Also on the Speedway, the 127B, that's Olin Holder. And final car on the Speedway out of Alvarado, Texas, that's the 81 of Jeff Hauser. First lap for Finch, he's going to be 9th quick. Here comes Holder. Holder going to be 10th quick. Both of those drivers have a lot of improvement to do if they want to come back for the last session. 12th quick for the 81 of Hauser. Finch going to run 9th once again. Here comes Holder for his second lap. He will not improve, and here comes Hauser. One final chance for this group of 3. And he'll stay 12th as well.
Next 3 cars that enter the racetrack, some pretty good and accomplished shoes. This driver has quite a few wins at the 105 Speedway. Performed very well just a couple of months ago down at Sabine Motor Speedway in Manning, Louisiana, at the all-new Sabine Speedway. And car number 56 in our new Waverly, Texas, it's going to be Craig Pursley Jr., who had a great run over there. Again, Craig Pursley Jr., car number 56, will take to the green flag down the front boulevard. The driver of the Affordable Cleaning Team, all-new Outlaw Racing Chassis, number 00 car. Been loving watching this young man push the progression in his young racing career. And the F1 Performance Powered 00 machine, it's David Fosbury. Fosbury out of Keithville, Louisiana, the 00 car. And the J&M sandblasting number 88M Outlaw Racing Chassis, that's Joshua Martin, who has been a dominant force all over the Architects this season. And I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps in there. 5th quick for Pursley with an 18.257. 18.257 for Pursley. 14th quick with an 18.490 for Joshua Martin, as Pursley holds on to 5th, but he turns up the wick on lap number 2 with an 18.233. Final trip to the checkers this time for Fosbury out of Keithville, Louisiana, the 00 car. Leaves a lot to be desired with a 17th effort with an 18.559. Martin holds on to 14th with an 18.627 on lap number 2. So still continues to be Bubba Jones right now with an 18.028 over Kyle Cummings and Chris Hennigan.
Here comes another one of those youngsters that's been pushing the progression recently. That's the 3 of CJ Howell out of Ball, Louisiana, as he's got himself a few wins this season. Also on the Speedway, it's going to be the 75 out of Forney, Texas. And the Greenleaf Landscape Sav Move Motive number 75, that's Chad Ince. So we got Howell and Ince, and we'll have one final session. And the last car of this group may very well be the fastest. And here comes TJ Howell, third quick, gonna knock Chris Hennigan out of the 9 fastest times for later on tonight. And here comes Ince. Howell may not be safe. Ince gonna drive an 18th quick lap on his first attempt. Second lap for Howell, not gonna be as quick, but he's still got the third and final spot as Ince comes around one more time in the 75. Ince will stay in the 18th spot, and we'll have 2 more cars trying to knock off Bubba Jones, Kyle Cummings, and CJ Howell. Bubba Jones is safe due to only 2 more cars being ran in this session.
The Autism Awareness sponsored, or Autism Awareness number 7 ill card of Anacoco, Louisiana, longtime regular at the Sabine Speedway down in Manny, Louisiana. Has quite a few Southern Hot Stock Championships there over the years on a full moon Friday night. We welcome to the racetrack the 7L Dwayne Rains. Out of Lubbock, Texas, car number 2X. He's no stranger to victory lane, making a long pull here to race with us this weekend. The 2X machine is going to be Brandon Williams again out of Lubbock. Time to beat 18.028 here in the third group for the factory stocks here on night number 1, time trial night for the Mike Parker Memorial here at Arklatex Speedway. And lap number 1 for Dwayne Rains out of Anacoco, 15th with an 18.468. 18.468 for Anacoco, Louisiana's Dwayne Rains. 12th quick on lap number 1 with an 18.405 for Lubbock, Texas racer Brandon Williams at car number 2X. Final trip down the boulevard and holding on to 16th quick. Second lap not better for the 2, so an 18.468 is what he'll hold on to for Dwayne Rains and the 7L car. And nor can the 2X out of Lubbock of Brandon Williams turn up the wick. He'll hold on to his 18.405, good for 12th quick and session number 3 for the factory stocks here tonight at Arklatex. So Bubba Jones has flexed his muscles and showed that he has got a fast hot rod, the baddest hot rod so far of the bunch as far as times go, an 18.028. It was an 18.049, I believe, for Cody Myers and that second group, as TJ Evans was fastest in our first group. So you crown Myers, Evans, Myers, and now Jones from each of the 3 groups here, as Jones the quicker. It makes you wonder, is the track getting a little bit quicker? It's interesting to see. I think they've all had a pretty level playground, as far as the lay of time on. I'm not sure that the track has taken any kind of rubber. I think it's been pretty honest, and that's why we separated them into 3 groups to give these guys an all-equal opportunity to make it to that final round.
Yep, and now those 9 cars, I believe, will be allowed to go to their trailer and make any adjustments that they think can help them pick up a little bit of time. And we're going to run all of the limited modifieds and then bring those 9 fastest factory stocks out for the official top 9 finishing positions from tonight.
So if you just tune in live watching us on raceontexas.com free on Facebook, y'all be sure to get your Speed Pass subscription if you're looking to tune in and watch the races this weekend. It'll be certainly worth the price of admission, but you'll get Boot Hill Speedway, Arklatex, Rocket Raceway Park, Texarkana 67 Speedway, Sabine Speedway on Friday nights, Heart of Texas. The list goes on and on. 281 Speedway, the Race Ranch down in Corpus Christi. Race on Texas, certainly worth the bang for your buck, and it's certainly worth, I believe, just the $40 for this race, particularly for this weekend. But just getting that for the next month, you'll get all those racetracks you can watch at any of their weekly events. So real quick, Colin, we'll run down the top 9 before we roll the limiteds on. TJ Evans, Bo Perry, Sean Graham, Cody Myers, Sonny Schaffer, Dalton Faulkner, and it was, who were the final 3 again?
That was Bubba Jones.
Yeah, Bubba Jones. I mentioned Bubba already. Kyle Cummings and CJ Howell. Those are the 2 I didn't have written down there.
All right. So as we're getting the factory stocks out of the way real quick, I think this needs to be said. This is a practice night. This is a Thursday night with time trials. We have 78 factory stocks and 51 limited modifieds here to time trial.
It's pretty good.
This is just a testament to how much Justin Whitehead has worked up to get, and also how much his sponsors have donated to get this many people here. So one more time, I'm going to go through our sponsors list real quick as I can. As we got Bordelon Septic, that's the Parker family. Billy White with WW Timber, Jason Ingalls with IRP Race Cars, Shane Abear with Express Race Cars, Bubba Jones with Sabine Speedway, Dylan Briscoe with Briscoe Windows, Joe Best with Twin City Towing, Bubba Vines with Vines Construction, Alan Alexander with Hercules Foundation Repair, Terry Jordan with Able Trucking, Chuck Priestley with Best Engines, Billy Vest with Dirt Defender, Bubba Green Towing, Ronnie Humphrey with ProGlow, A&T Delivery, Brandon Rowland, and we'll get to the rest of them later as the first few limited modifieds are pulling on the Speedway. First car on the Speedway is the Mikey's One-Stop Shop Black Sheep Motorsports number 1E out of Mooringsport, Louisiana. That's Matt Ebar, former Wing 600 ace. Also on the Speedway, he's got 12 wins this season out of Walker, Louisiana in the 21. He drives the Avance Trucking Trading Post Wrecker Service. Jimmy Teal Roofing number 21, that's Jacob Avance. And the final car on the Speedway, the Storm Services number 17, Austin Storm. Matt Ebarb going to set the pace with an 18.038. Here comes Avance. He's going to hit a 15.5, and Austin Storm's going to go quick time, 17.935. After one lap, Austin Storm's got the quick time. Matt Ebarb's going to take quick time, 17.914. This time by, can Avance improve? Avance with an 18.4. Storm's going to run a 17.935. So how about the Black Sheep Motorsports 1E? Matt Ebarb quick through group number 1.
Next couple of cars that entered the Speedway here. And the number 2 R car out of Hooks, Texas. Former Arkansas State IMCA champion at Texarkana 67 Speedway and the IRP Racing Chassis number 2R. It's Dustin Robinette out of Hooks. And on the racetrack out of Shepherd, Texas, doing double duty this weekend in car number 193. It's Philip Seals. And the youngster who won 14 times about 4 years ago in a 4-cylinder, now in his 3rd full season in limited modified action. The 14 Junior, Shocking Shocks PPG Paints 14 Junior. It's Michael King Jr. and the IRP Racing Chassis Effect Series car number 14 Junior. He's out of El Dorado. Robinette quick time right now with a 17.536. Robinette with a 17.536. Not far off is Michael King Jr. with a 17.574. The pace picked up by about a half of a tenth or so with these limited modified cars who are hustling right around the bottom of the boulevard. And so it continues to be Dustin Robinette setting the bar here with a 17.536, a 17.562. Boy, that's not far off. Is Michael King Jr. to second, and third, Philip Seals. All 3 of those cars just dethroned that first 3 cars that came out.
Here we go. Guy who's got multiple wins here this season out of Texarkana, Texas. The Red Lake Mafia number 2, that's Adam Roy. Also on the Speedway, the 164, Jason Downey. Downey sponsored by Star Motorsports, Repipe Pros, and Window Pros of Texas. And the final car on the Speedway, the F5, the Team 5 Enterprises F5 out of New Boston, Texas. That's Skeet Amison. First lap, Adam Roy's going to take second quick. As the quick time in the 2R was not Dustin Robinette, that's Scotty Hushelpeck this week. So Scotty's up top. Adam Roy is second. Michael King Jr. is third right now through one lap of this session. Adam Roy still second quick with a 17.551. Second lap for Downey. Going to be 8th. As Skeet Amison knocks Philip Seals out of the 4th spot. He'll take the 4th spot with a 17.722, but not enough as Hushelpeck, Roy, and King Jr. are your top 3 right now. Actually, we're taking the top 5 from these. We got 2 groups of limited modifieds.
I'm not too sure if Hushelpeck's just the hired gun for time trials and they're trying to get the car into the show. I'm not sure. We'll have to talk to him post-race and see how that's going to work out. But maybe Robinette doesn't feel he can throw his best 2 down. But Hushelpeck doing double duty here this weekend so far to this juncture. The green comes out for your next trio of race cars onto the Speedway, and we'll find out of Huntsville, Texas, the hometown of KMO Kenny Montgomery in car number 3R. It's Charles Riley III. Charles Riley III in car number 3R, and out of Hooks in car number 24B. Quick Time Award winner as around goes the former Boot Hill track champion of the 20 of Brent Tidwell. Brent Tidwell makes a rare, uncharacteristic mistake in car number 20, and we'll see if it slows down the progress for Riley in car number 3. But right now, Bailey Turner's first lap, who was your Quick Time Award winner at Texarkana in this event 3 years ago. Turner's good for 6 quick with a 17.833. 17.833 for Turner. And Charles Riley the third with an 18.188, the best of his 2 on, and I'll put him 10th quick right now. Tidwell A very rare, unorthodox mistake for the former Boot Hill Speedway Limited Modified Track Champion. Will roll across this time. We'll see if he was able to get it wound up. And quick time! He says, I'll make up for it. I'll throw it all away. He gave her the goose, and what's good for the goose is good for the gander, he said down there at turn number 2. And Brent Tidwell with a 17.475. Threw the first one right out the window and threw the second one right into the money bank.
So here he is. We were talking about him earlier. Here's Ray Allen Kulhonic in the 33. He's sponsored by MKM, Smiley's Racing Products, and RAK Suspension. Also on the Speedway, the 32, that's Brandon Brown, a former winner of the Factory Stock 50 in the Factory Stock portion. And another driver on the Speedway. He's got a win here this year, the Sugarland Garden Soil. Number K1, that's Stephen Guidry. First lap for Kulhonic is 5th quick. He's going to knock Amundsen out of the top 5. This time by Brandon Ball, now knocks Kulhonic out. And Guidry's going to be 6th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, these three cars, as we're taking the top 5 from each group of limited modifieds. This time by 2nd quick for Ray Allen Kulhonic with a 17.481.
There is no slouches here, man. I'm telling you right now.
Brandon Brown is not in the top 5. Stephen Guidry going to run 6th quick with a 17.6 flat. As your top 5 right now, Brent Tidwell, Ray Allen Kulhonic, Scotty Hushelpeck, Adam Roy, and Michael King Jr.
Brent Tidwell made himself mad for looping it, and I think he may have embarrassed himself. He said, I certainly got to make up for it. And again, that time to beat his second lap, that's 17.475. As we'll roll the next trio onto the Speedway here. It's going to be the car number 24G out of Texarkana, Texas, of Randall Guffey. Again, Randall Guffey in 24G. Russ, Texas Racer in car number 3W. That's going to be Levi Wilkerson and Cliff Tupper. And a brand new Western Flyer that Cody Tupper set quick time in at Boot Hill a few weeks ago, and the caution will have to come out. We'll have to send him around one more time. That'll halt the progress here for Tupper. So Cliff Tupper, here's an interesting stat, Cliff Tupper set quick time the night that Daniel Jones did at the inaugural Factory Stock 50 at Timberline Speedway in 2013 in limited modifies. He was your quick time award winner. So we'll see if he can do it 9 years after the fact. He was also in a Western Flyer chassis that night, and he was just getting his feet back wet into racing at that time. You remember Cliff got out, he had an injury, and was racing crate late models the last couple of years, but let Cody, his son, drive that Western Flyer car at Boot Hill and set quick time with it over there at the hill at the Billy Melton Memorial a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you know, that was interesting, Zach. He set quick time in this car. He showed up to race in his other car.
Yeah.
And then Sunday at RPM, he was back in his dad's car running in the top 3.
It's funny. He's always wanted to drive Dad's car. He always performs well on Dad's car. Right now, leaving a lot out there to be desired in Dad's car with a 10th place effort with a 17.816 for Cliff. I'm sorry, that's Cliff. That is Cliff Tupper. Sorry, it's not Cody. It is, in fact, Cliff. So Cliff is with a 17.816. Yeah, he threw me off a little bit, but you're all good, bro. So right now your rundown continues to be Brent Tidwell over Ray Allen Kulhonic, Dustin Robnett. I'm sorry, it's not Dustin, it's Scotty Hushelpeck, your top 3.
So here comes another session. Brand new wrap on this race car, courtesy of the Hitman Sean Graham. That's the 99X of Dustin Durham. Had Justin Tater Hyde driving that car a few weeks back at the Billy Melton Memorial. But a Durham back in the seat of the 99X this week. Also on the Speedway, Abigail Wilkerson out of Rush, Texas in the 5W Consulting number 4. And the final car on the Speedway, he got the win in this race last year at Boot Hill Speedway. Out of Lafayette, Louisiana, in the James Dubrock owned M22, that's Shane Hebert, the builder of Express Race Cars. So the first lap by Dustin Durham's going to be 12th quick, 9th quick for Hebert, and 18th for Wilkerson. Uncharacteristic lap from Hebert. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up on lap number 2. I say that, but he's actually only about 10 hundredths off. That's how tight these cars are right now. Next time by, he's going to go 8th quick, and this time he's only 30 tenths off. I should say 31 thousandths. As Hebert is going to be 8th quick with a 17.632. The 5th quick spot right now is a 17.562. As Michael King Jr. continues to run on the bubble in the 14 Junior.
Yeah, Shane Hebert, your reigning winner of the Mike Parker Memorial Limited Modified portion of that event held at Boot Hill Speedway a season ago. So we'll see if Hebert can go back-to-back tonight, not in his familiar number 9 car. On the racetrack now, driving car number C12. He continually pushes the progression, gets better and better each and every week. Car number C12 Out of Stonewall, Louisiana is going to be Chris Hall, again in car number C12. And on the racetrack behind him, it's Gene Border, the man who built this racetrack, piloting car number 3 tonight, that Abatic sponsorship of Church.tv. Number 23, the Cody Tupper car. Gene Border in the number 3. Wait, that has to be Cody. Sorry, I mixed them up. The one on the back straightaway, the white and red, that's Gene Border. And Cody Tupper is in his familiar IRP Racing Chassis Abatic sponsorship of Church.tv. Earnhardt lean forward lettered number 3 as Cody Tupper good for 12th quick with a 17.764. Gene Border good for 13th with a 17.775. As Chris Hall, and this one 15th with a 17.864. And all the time up front right now, Colin Bell continues to be Brent Tidwell with that 17.475.
Gene went so many years without ever running at this racetrack.
Ever.
And he ran Donnie Powers modified. He ran his big block with us last week. And now he's running a limited modified.
It's awesome. Never raced here.
So our final 2 cars of session number 1 on the Speedway out of Texarkana, Texas. That's the 1CG of Chris Green. And the final car on the Speedway in the Wicked Race Cars, 47cc out of Sibley, Louisiana. It's Connor Williams. He was second fast in practice. Can he knock off Michael King Jr. for the final spot? First time for Green, going to be 24th quick. Here comes Williams. 10th quick for Connor Williams. He's got 2 full tenths to make up on Michael King Jr. if he wants to be in the final 10. Green going to move up 1 spot to 23rd with an 18.371. And at the line, Connor Williams will stay 10th with a 17.679. So Brent Tidwell is going to be quick time after a blunder. He finishes 6 1,000ths of a second faster than the 33 of Ray Allen Kohanic. Scotty Hushelpeck in the 2R, the typical Dustin Robb net car. He's 3rd quick. Adam Roy 4th quick in the 2. And the 5th and final transfer spot from session number 1 is going to be the 14 junior of Michael King Jr.
So we've seen a driver throw it all away on his first lap and spin out and actually come back to take the crown and be the quickest lap overall so far for your limited modifieds from round number 1. So again, we're taking the top 5 from the round. So Colin just mentioned on Brent Tidwell, quick time with a 17.475 over that 17.481 for Ray Allen Kohanic. Dustin Robinette. I keep saying Dustin. It's Scotty Hushelpeck. Hushelpeck, the hired gun of Robinette's number 2R car. That IRP race car chassis, the 17.536 for Hushelpeck. Adam Roy, 17.551 and a 17.562. Those times all very, very close, only a 10th off. Matter of fact, if you look, Colin, all the way from first all the way back to 14th, I mean, we're only just 2.5, 3 tenths off of one another. Very, very competitive and close times here tonight.
Yeah, Zach, just talk about how competitive this class is. And obviously when you only have 2 groups, they're not as spread out. But just looking at the Speedway right now, there's already 3 or 4 cars in the infield that have won here this year. Corey Neal Jr.'s got a win here in a late model.
Yeah, he's in that Breezy Motorsports 71 MB custom car. He's been that kid there. He's going to be the next big thing out of this area, I believe. He's gotten a lot of tutelage from Tyler Erb, who's you're a big fan of course. Or I think you're still a fan of Tyler. But Corey is paid a lot of respects to Tyler too. And helping him
Devin
get to
Moran also. He worked with Devin Moran.
Yeah, he went up and traveled with Devin, and that those kind of things will go a long way in his racing career. Just to say, hey, I went and wrenched on these cars. This is what this young man does. Interviewed him after he won that feature at Manny. I'm not sure if you were down there at Sabine Speedway for the big battle on the bend. I'm telling you right now, if I've ever seen a power move, and much respect to Rollo Pilkington, track promoter here, but C7 passed Rollo like he was tied to a stump. Rollo, I love you, but he'll tell you, he just motored on the outside of him there in the C7 car. Rollo said after that, he said, Zach, I know what I got, and now I know what he's got. So he got a hammer underneath the hood, if you will. May not necessarily beat him by talent that night. He outmotored him.
So like I was saying, just looking at the lineup here, Colby Mewborn's won here this year. Ricky Ingles has won here. Chris Hennigan's won here. Connor Mewborn's won here. Josh Balkum won here last year. John Mitchell won here last week.
Yeah,
it's not going to be easy to be the top 5.
No, I mean, and right in the middle of those, got them top 2 you mentioned here is Boone Evans, who swept 2 events last weekend between the IMCA stock car and the IMCA Sport Mod. Want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Corey Grigsby as well as James Brown over there watching somewhere in who the hell knows Texas. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Miss seeing that 99 car on the racetrack. James, hope you're doing well. Hope you're still calling the races and doing a good job of it, my friend. I hope to see you over here in the Architect sometime. As on the racetrack now, the reigning Boot Hill Speedway Limited Modified Track Champion, the Hadaway Twin Collision A&T Livery Best Engine Powered Western Flyer Chassis, number 36 car to Texarkana. It's Chloe Mewborn with a 17.659, turning up the wick and dialing her up, baby. And the Grant Shelton Worldwide Tire Popeyes Louisiana Fast with a 17.396. Quick time for Mark Underwood Jr. with it in the K9. In the Malfus Motorsports K9, barking like a big dog tonight. And the K9 for Mark Underwood with a 17.396 and a whole 10th quicker than Mewborn, 17.478. Quick time with a 17.349 for Mark Underwood Jr. Mark Underwood Jr., it's understood, he is a wheelman indeed. And Boone Evans with a 17.559. That wasn't too shabby, but 2/10 off in your quick time. Mark Underwood Jr. out of Ruston.
Top 5 in the first group.
Yeah.
So here we go. First car of the second group. How about Tippy Bickham back on the Speedway out of Blanchard, Louisiana, driving Jacob Fricks, number 21, the Bayou Dirt Works, number 21 machine. Also on the Speedway, it's going to be Colton Davis out of Prairieville, Texas in the 21T, and Chad Fitzgerald out of Baytown, Texas in the 211. Fitzgerald sponsored by Truck Superstore. First time by, Bickham's going to be 4th quick with an 18.097. Here comes Fitzgerald.
Good to see Tippy.
As we have replaced Corey Neal Jr. actually is out there instead of Colton Davis, excuse me. And Corey Neal's going to go 4th quick. Tippy Bickham will be 5th quick. Corey Neal Jr. got some work to do in that C7. As Fitzgerald going to come by once again. He is 6th of 6th. Can the C7 improve? Yes, he can. Quick time for the 7C, the youngster Corey Neal Jr. 17.346 to beat Mark Underwood 17.349.
3/1000ths of a second, ladies and gentlemen. This young man just knows how to dial up the wick when he needs to do it the most. Trying to get that provisional thrown into his back pocket. As the clouds begin to set on a full moon Thursday night here in Vivian, Louisiana, as we roll round number 2 for the Limited Modifieds here for the Mike Perker Memorial. If you're looking in live on Facebook or in our second round of Limited Modified Time Trials here tonight, a little bit of money up for grabs for these guys for the top spot and a provisional if they cannot race their way in the 2 rounds of Passing Point heats tomorrow night. And on the racetrack, in the car number 18J out of Texarkana, the second generation racer, the son of Jeff, it's Jake Huckabee. Jake Huckabee in the IRP Racing chassis number 18J. And on the racetrack as well in car number 24D. Yeah. It's Dustin Dump Taylor and a new Express chassis going the 3rd quick with a 17.464 for Dump. Dustin Taylor out of Hooks, Texas with a 17.464. And Cody McDaniel with a 17.921 on first lap in that 16C car. Huckabee relegates him to 7th as Huckabee takes over 6th with a 17.804. His better of the 2 was this second. So Huckabee 6th. It continues to be Corey Neal Jr. by 3/1000ths of a second. Here Colin Bill with a 17.346.
So the 4 Seasons 4 Junior of Boone Evans now on the bubble. As a very accomplished racer from Maybank, Texas, comes onto the Speedway in the 31. That's Gregory Muirhead. Second car on the Speedway. Out of Longwood, Louisiana, it's going to be the 00 of J.D. Ammons, as he's gotten a lot faster these past few weeks. And the final car on the Speedway, it's the veteran, Uncle Ricky Ingalls in the IRP Race Cars number 81, sponsored by Twin City Towing. First lap around. Ammons going to go to 6th quick. Muirhead is 8th quick. As Ricky Ingalls goes 3rd quick with a 17.424. Second lap for Muirhead. He'll finish 9th quick. Can Ammons improve? Ammons going to finish in the 7th spot. Ingalls can only improve from here. And he's going to finish in the third spot. So Corey Neal Jr., Mark Underwood Jr., Ricky Ingalls, Dustin Taylor, and Colby Mewborn, your top 5 right now.
So any of you fans that are watching live right now on Facebook, I'm going to give you a quick list of the drivers that are about to come out. Give me your name. Comment on Facebook if you think any of these drivers are going to knock off Corey Neal or make it inside of the top 3. How about Chris Hennigan, Bubba Sampson, Danny Hebert, Jacob Mauser, Connor Mewborn, Chad Morgan, Jesse Mazzell, Josh Bauckham, a feature winner here, John Mitchell, Greg Miller, and Ryan Harris, who's got a lot of wins at 105. And Justin Vaughn, I skipped right over him. So on the racetrack now, the hired gun of the Rallo's Auto Sales, Rick Sis Performance-powered IRP Effect Series chassis, Double Deuce. It's Winnigan, Chris Hennigan out of Marshall, Texas. Third quick for Hennigan, the winner of this event in 2019 at Texarkana 67. The Double Deuce car good for 17.401, jumps up the third quick, relegates 81 of Ingalls to fourth with that 17.424. Hebert's lap, 12th quick with an 18.162. And Hennigan cannot dial up the wick and turn it up quicker with a 17.532 on his second lap. Final trip to the checkers for car number 48. Bubba Sampson. Bubba Sampson good for 14th quick with an 18.553. All Corey Neal Jr. all the time with a 17.346 over the 17.349 for Mark Underwood Jr. And Hennigan just jumps inside of the top 3 and dethrones Ingalls back to 4th over Taylor in 5th.
So next on the Speedway out of Minden, Louisiana, making a return to limited modified action. That's the 12P, sponsored by the 7th Tap Brewery Project. That's Jacob Mauser. Behind him, got a win here last time he was in attendance. That's the Harold's Transmission Hadaway Towing Hadaway Collision number 36C. That's Connor Mewborn. Keep getting the brothers confused. Connor Mewborn in 36C, and the final car on the Speedway, the Morgan Saws number 7. That's Chad Morgan.
Connor may not shock us here, but he may shock us.
First time by Mauser's going to be 14th quick. Interesting to see the 36C on the inside of the Speedway, and he's quick time. Connor Mewborn, quick time in the 36C with a 17.266. First driver in the 17.2s.
He said, you ain't the only youngster around here that can get around this joint. Connor Mewborn winning his first ever limited modified feature event here just a few weeks ago. Colin Bell with a 17.266. Connor looking like shades of old Flying Brian out here on the racetrack. Boy, he gets better and better and continually pushes the progression in his young racing career. I love to see it.
Well, Brian, I know you're watching on Race on Texas, and it's a good thing you let the kid come out to play.
Yeah. He's an absolute assassin, man. It's been fun watching him race.
Has definitely taken to this limited modified division very quickly as he's up top with a 17.266, and we'll see if he can even improve it even further as he's got this car rolling around the Arclotech Speedway.
He looked like he got a pretty quick wick there off of 4 and got a nice diving run down into 1. I think he's going to turn up the wick. What do you think?
Chad Morgan was 17th that last time. We'll see what the 36C can do.
I think he heated the tires
Looks like
up.
he's running the Hennigan line. Yeah. Can he do it better than Hennigan himself?
I think he is. Well, that lap didn't quite time properly.
So Connor Mewborn's going to be quickest with a 17.266. He'll take the top of the board, followed by Corey Neal Jr., Mark Underwood Jr., Chris Hennigan, and Ricky Ingalls is your top 5 cars right now as Chad Morgan finishes in the 14th spot.
So the pair of youngsters right now, 1 and 2. It's Mewborn over Neal. A 17.266 is the time to beat here at the Arclotech Speedway in your final round for limited modified time trials tonight here at Arclotech. And then we'll have the top 9 out of each, or top 10 out of these, and the top 9 out of the factory stocks. The 96 machine this weekend. It's Jesse Mazzell out of Frankston, Texas. Mazzell in the 96R car for Riggs Motorsports this weekend in the 96R. On the racetrack as well, the Benton Bullet, Josh Bauckham of the Dominator Racing Chassis, Easy One, Total Custom Cars and Dyno. Number 25 out of Benton, Louisiana, it's the Benton Bullet, Josh Bauckham. Lap number 1 for Bauckham. It's going to be good for 10th quick with a 17.752. 17.752 for Bauckham. Justin Vaughn with a 17.977 on his first lap. Goes to 14th quick in the 2JT car. Justin Vaughn, and Bauckham holds on to 10th with that 17.696. He is quicker on lap number 2, but not good enough to gain any kind of position in the running order.
So that just shows you how competitive this class is right here, Zach. The 25 of Bauckham was the quickest car in practice.
Yeah.
And Vaughn was one of the top 10 quickest.
Makes you wonder, did they
10th quick in this, and Vaughn 14th.
Makes you wonder, did they adjust something on the race car? Maybe they should have just left it alone, or did the track change from their liking? You just never know. But this guy right here might shock us all.
Final group, the WW and Timber. I don't think it would be a shock, Zach.
No, it wouldn't be a shock.
Late model driver and a limited modified. That's John Mitchell, the Catman in the 5. Won here last weekend. Greg Miller out of Nederland, Texas in the 10T. Nederland sponsored by Spidal Oil, Joe's Hand Cleaner, and Mid-County Automotive. Also on the Speedway, Rhino, the 199 out of Crosby, Texas. That's Ryan Harris in the Marathon Solutions Group, KMO Racing 199. First time around, 21st quick for Miller.
Here he comes.
8th quick for John Mitchell the first time. He'll be 2nd quick the second time. Ryan Harris is 11th on his first lap. Can anyone crack into the top 5? The 10T gets loose. It's probably not going to be him. And at the line, Ryan Harris will finish 10th quick. Not going to have enough. And finishing in 22nd, that will be the 10T of Greg Miller.
So Ryan Harris, former runner-up of that big 15,000 win factory stock showdown, 75-lap factory stock race to pay 15,000 win that win again. Chris Hennigan won over at Chatham 3 years ago. It's been a couple of years now, but Ryan Harris is no stranger to Victor Lane. He's got a power plant supplied tonight by my good friend Kenny Montgomery out of Huntsville, Texas. Mentioned KMO a little bit earlier. The artist, of course, many folks know, dirt track thing, but he is more known for his prowess as far as the raffles and the waffles and all that stuff goes.
He's also the title sponsor of the factory stocks
yes,
this weekend.
The title. I was getting to that. Thank you. The title sponsor of the factory stocks here, the KMO Racing factory stocks here at the Arclotech Speedway for the Mike Parker Memorial. That Ryan Harris power plant underneath the hood can be bought for $4,500. I would imagine that's a crate motor under the hood. I could be wrong, but that's a pretty good deal that Kenny Montgomery's trying to part with there. I'm not sure he can sell it till after Ryan's done with it this weekend, but I think Ryan is going to get the good out of it here this weekend. Ryan Harris is a really good shoe. He's won a lot of races over at Battleground Speedway back in the day when he was just starting off as a young whippersnapper and 105. And again, he comes to Louisiana and runs very well each and every time he makes the venture over here. So it's always good to see Ryan Harris here in the house at Arclotech.
Yeah, and Ryan always has extremely sharp looking
Yes,
race
he does.
cars.
They spared, well, I don't say spare no expense, but they're very tedious and they really comb the race program over and they show up and they like to show out and they like to look good doing it. And you got to have a lot of respect for that approach.
Yeah, like me and Ryan were talking in the pits earlier. Highlighter orange and highlighter green can never look bad on a race car.
Stands out.
So it looks like we actually misspoke earlier. The guys who moved on were not allowed to go make changes in the pits. They stayed in the infield. So we got our 9 factory stocks ready to determine the top 9 finishing spots tonight, 1st through 9th. And as previously stated, the top 2 will have a provisional to fall back on if need be. The 2 highest qualifiers from tonight that cannot race their way in tomorrow night and Saturday night through consolations will have a provisional and be allowed to start from the 23rd and 24th starting spots of the factory stock 50, now named the Mike Parker Memorial.
Again, not a whole lot hanging in the balance here except a nice little bit of money. How much is it on top? Like $560 or something?
It is $500 for the factory stock,
$500.
$600 for the limiteds.
10-4.
With other
and pays back all the way through, yeah.
Well, not all the way through. There's some random spots.
Right, yeah, that's what I was
You just got to get a
mentioning.
little bit lucky, but I think the guy who runs 3rd in the factory stocks and gets nothing tonight will be okay. Because they practically, not guaranteed, but they're pretty safe into a $300 starting spot on Saturday night if they need it.
I don't know what happened on my pictures. I had it earlier, screenshotted. I don't know what happened to it.
So the first car on the racetrack and your first 3 cars hit the racetrack. This is your final 9, folks. The Drew Brees 9 here. We'll see who's got to have the greatest time and the best 4 tires and steering wheel planted to the Arclotech Speedway Racing Surface. The car number 18H, the Tracy's Lawn Care, entered the hired gun for Tracy Harris this weekend. That car fielded out of Lufkin, Texas, the 18H, driven by T.J. Evans tonight out of Tyler. As we hustle down the boulevard this time to grab the white flag for T.J. Evans. What is it? Mine's lagging. An 18.083. That is very quick. Only had 3 cars earlier in the 18.0 bracket, and Evans comes out and sets the bar high with an 18.083. Just to give you an idea, Bo Perry, an 18.351 and an 18.362 for Sean Graham. All 9 of these cars are going to be super fast, but T.J. Evans very well just made them have to lick their chops for what he left out there on the racetrack right now. 18.083 for TJ Evans.
Yeah, and if you look at his second lap, Zach, you can show how fine the line is as he's
He was
4
the
tenths
slowest
slower.
car in the second lap.
That's how tight these cars are right now. As here comes session number 2. First car on the Speedway. He was the 2020 champion of this race, and he was the 2021 Cajun Classic champion here at Arclitect Speedway. That's the DAF chassis Roxy, the 27 of Dalton Faulkner out of Cut and Shoot, Texas. Also on the Speedway, the Twin City Towing Crawfish Tire, John Harvey Toyota, John Harvey Subaru 55M of Cody Myers. And the final car on the Speedway is the Flynn Trucking number 75 out of Salina, Texas. That's Sonny Chauffeur. First time by for Faulkner. Second quick for Dalton Faulkner with an 18.303. Cody Myers takes second quick with an 18.097. And Chauffeur is now third with an 18.248. Bo Perry and Sean Graham relegated to the bottom side of the board. Second time by for Faulkner. He's going to get third back at 18.208. Cody Myers not as quick, but he's still in second. We'll see what Chauffeur can do. Still waiting on the time to register. But it looks like Chauffeur was a little bit quicker there with an 18.218. Not quick enough to knock third away from Dalton Faulkner. So TJ Evans and Cody Myers are top 2 right now.
Now onto the racetrack. And the Howell Motorsports number 3 machine this weekend. It's C.J. Howell, winner of Thunder Valley Speedway this season, has quite a few wins at the Super B Speedway the last couple of years. He'll take the green flag and hustle down the boulevard into turns 1 and 2. And now the promoter of the Sabine Speedway down in Manny, Louisiana, formerly out of Provençal, in the number B21 car. The Outlaw Chassis Best Engines entry of Bubba Jones. And the B1 GRT Racing Chassis Calendar Motorsports entry, it's going to be Cal Cummings. Quick time for C.J. Howell, the first car to hit the 17-second bracket tonight with a 17.953. A 17.953 for C.J. Howell out of Ball, Louisiana. Wow. At 18.048 would have been quick time for his second lap. So he just left zilch, not a Nathan doubt about it on the table. C.J. Howell, second lap at 18.048 would have been quick time on his second, but the 17.953 will set the bar for Ball, Louisiana youngster, 17 years old, maybe just 16. It's C.J. Howell against 17.953. How do you like me now? TJ Evans with an 18.083 second. Cody Myers 18.097 is third. Bubba Jones with an 18.111. 18.208 is Dalton Faulkner. An 18.218 for Sonny Chauffeur to the 75S. And that's it.
So we're going to roll straight into the limited modifieds, and then we're going to get a word with the top 2 from each
10-4.
the factory stocks and the limited modifieds. So here comes the limited modifieds. First one on the Speedway, the Speed Sky Custom Factory machine. That's Dustin Brown next. Also on the Speedway, the Red Wing Mafia number 2. That's Adam Roy. So once again, Scotty Hustle takes the yeah, a pair of 2 is going to set the pace for the limited modifieds. First time a 17.434 for Hushelbeck. Here comes Roy. Roy going to be second with a 17.514. A small Hushelbeck is quick.
Adam started off this year dominant at Arclitex, won 4 in a row.
Not as fast for Hushelbeck on lap number 2, opening up the door for Adam Roy. And he doesn't have it. He'll be second with a 17.514.
Now onto the racetrack, the former Boot Hill Speedway, the 2019 Boot Hill Speedway Limited Modified Track Champion. And the Ingles Racing Performance Chassis RKT operating Rock and Roll Whataburger sponsored number 20. It's Brent Tidwell from Harleton, Texas. Tidwell out of Harleton, Texas in the number 20T. So the top time right now to beat a 17.434 for Dustin Robinette. 17.434 for Robinette. And on the racetrack is as well the number 33 of Ray Allen Colhanick. Off before to the white. It'll be a 17.557. Good for third quick behind, I keep saying Robinette, Hushelbeck and Roy. Second quick with a 17.511 for Ray Allen. Cole Hennick in the number 33. Michael King Jr. fourth quick with a 17.549. Final time to the checkers, a 17.592 on the second lap. Slower of the two for Brent Tidwell, the former Boot Hill track champ in 20. Final trip to the checkers, he is just about a couple of thousandths off as Cole Hennick will hold on to second behind Scotty Hushelpeck's quick time. Again, Hushelpeck setting the bar with a 17.434.
Corey Neal Jr. going to go seventh quick as Connor Mewborn second quick in 17.342, 2 thousandths slower than Underwood. Underwood's going to open up the door this time for the 36C and the C7. As Corey Neal Jr. going to improve again on the second lap, but not enough. He's sixth quick. Connor Mewborn will not improve, and he'll stay in the second spot. So the K9 of Mark Underwood Jr. at the top with a 17.340, and Connor Mewborn second with a 17.342.
17.340 is the time to beat for Mark Underwood Jr. right now in the Popeyes Louisiana Fast. Grant Shelton Worldwide Tire number K9 car from Mafus Motorsports. On the racetrack, former Mike Parker Memorial winner at Texarkana 67 Speedway, the Rollos Auto Sales, Rick's Performance, powered IOP Effect Series chassis. It's Winnigan, Chris Hennigan from Marshall, Texas in car number 22. And on the racetrack, he's been the dominant force at Boot Hill Speedway all season long. He's won here at Arklip, Texas as well. The IOP chassis. And quick time for Winnigan. Chris Hennigan out of Marshall, Texas with a 17.296 for Winnigan. Chris Hennigan in the double deuce for Rollo Pilkington. Wow. Hennigan setting the bar. Just as I was writing Underwood's time down, he dethroned as Ingles goes to fourth quick with a 17.403. 17.403 for Ricky Ingles. So real quick recap, Chris Hennigan the quickest. I'll tell you what, this is what's funny, Colin. He would have been the quick car as well, just like CJ Howell. His second lap was a 17.381, which would have been quick time, but a 17.296 is the quickest of your final limited modified cars, 17.296. So just like Howell, who turned a 17.953, his second lap would have been the quickest, too, out of all of them. So those two guys really hit the money on both of their trips around the Arklip Speedway. We'll head down real quick and get a word. Yeah, I think it must have died or something.
Supposed to have 10 more hours of battery life.
Wow. They didn't have an automatic power source. That thing should just stay powered up, right? So we'll head down here and get a quick word. Colin was having some difficulties with his mic there. I'm not sure. So we're going to head down here and get a word with our two quick time award winners, maybe the other two as well. Yeah. 17.953 for CJ Howell and a 17.296 again out of Marshall. Test. Okay. Come up here. Test, test, test. Yep. All right. How about it? Goodness gracious. Test 1, 2. All right. This might be the sweet spot. The driver out of Ball, Louisiana. Are you 17 still?
Yes, sir.
17 years old is CJ Howell. He's got a lot of wins down the road to Super Beast Speedway the last couple of years, and Thunder Valley you've been really good. But man, to come up here to Arclitect Speedway tonight and set quick time at a 75 factory stocks, this has to be a huge shot in the arm for you, young man. I mean, it's 17.953. You're the only car inside the 17 bracket tonight, man. Did it feel as good as it looked from our vantage point behind the cockpit?
I felt pretty good. I feel like I can be a little better, and hopefully I can get a little better for tomorrow.
I know this doesn't have a lot of implication on as what you're going to race like. I know you still want to race into the show, but does this give you a little bit of sense of a security to know that no matter what, you're going to start this 50-lap main event on Saturday night?
As long as I start the show, that's all I'll be happy. But if we can run up front and get a top 5, I'll be even happier.
Who do you credit this factory stock prowess to? I know that you get a lot of this stuff. You're hard working underneath these cars, but I know you got a lot of great people in your corner. Who do you want to thank for helping you out here?
My mom, my dad, Rodney, Tiffany, my brother. There's a lot of people that helped me, and all my great sponsors, Joel's Auto Sales, Day Motorsports, Smiley's Racing Products, Affordable Cleaning Team, LBG Graphics, Howell Motorsports, and JCR Components.
If I'm not mistaken, this isn't the first time you've taken Quick Time Award. You were quickest overall at the 75-lap factory stock, the 15,000 win race at Chatham, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. What a job tonight, man. Outstanding job. Congratulations to you tonight, CJ Howell.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank Justin for putting this race on, and it's for a good cause, and hopefully the stands is back tomorrow.
There he is, folks. He kicks Mattel and I racing all the time. He's pretty good behind the wheel of a real car. CJ. All right, Colin Bell's going to get a word here with Chris Hennigan, tonight's Limited Time Award winner.
All right, Chris, obviously no stranger to victory lane here, so he knows we got to get a little bit closer to the stands to get the mics to work just a little bit better. So, Chris, tell us about the Limited Modified tonight. You get to run it all weekend for Rollo. Obviously, I'm sure you'll be here tomorrow in your USRA Modified trying to defend the home turf. We got some Dallas guys coming in, I heard. So, how do you feel about the weekend?
Pretty good. I guess 3 cars tomorrow night is going to be a little tough, but I guess we're going to give it a shot.
All right, so at this point, the favorite in the Modified. You are every time you pull in here. Now you're the favorite in the Limited. What do we have to do to get the factory stock up there?
I think I messed my lap up in the factory stock. I got in one a little too slow both times, so maybe it's my fault, hopefully.
All right, race fans. Well, we'll see tomorrow at night as well as Saturday, and we'll see if Chris Hennigan can sweep all 3 divisions. If anyone in the house can do it, it's the C16, 16, and the 22 of Chris Hennigan.
So for all of you who are tuning in tonight on Race